So for those of you who are in the chat room, you will probably know I am a massive sci-fi geek. Anything to do with space, anything to do with time travel, or just in generic terms sci-fi, I'm all over that like a tramp on chips. But that said, Virgin Galactic stock, everyone's talking about it, everyone's talking about space travel, and that's the only real listed company on the stock market that is doing space travel. So it's got to be a good investment. Well, there's the famous Warren Buffett quote, be fearful when people are greedy and be greedy when people are fearful. And right now people are being greedy. And it scares the hell out of me, to be honest, because I do want to get into this company. But let's find out a little bit more info by giving a virgin an STI. Now that sounds weird, right? So Virgin Galactic stock, SPCE ticker symbol, is a company by the brainchild Richard Branson. I know the millennials and Gen Z are growing up with Elon Musk. I grew up with Richard Branson, not in his house, you know, I didn't stalk him, I wasn't trapped in his basement or anything like that. He's not a member of the BBC, but I did in fact grow up idolizing this guy who made his own millions and entrepreneurship through many years of bankruptcy. And I strongly suggest if you're into reading, have a check out of his autobiographies because it's literally, I would say it changed my life. No joke. I think genuinely his books really did help and showed me that failure is just a stepping stone to success. This got quite motivational in the end, huh? Before we get into why you should or should not buy SPCE, please do hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, make sure you've liked the button, turn that like button blue. And of course, if you want to join our chat room or buy me a beer or a whiskey, there's a Patreon link in the description and you can join our exclusive WhatsApp group and find out when I am buying and selling stocks as it happens. Okay, Virgin Galactic Holdings. Current market cap is around about $5 billion US dollars. Since their IPO, which wasn't that long ago, they've ranged from $7 all the way up to $37 and has been quite rangy since. Currently riding in the middle of that at $22. Let's go buy some right now. No. Let's not, because that's literally what everyone seems to be doing. They're not profitable and far from it. They have a PE and a PEG of negatory, negative, doesn't exist because they're not profitable. Their assets and health of the company is very good though. Their short-term assets and liabilities is $415 million in assets in short term and $113 million in liabilities in the short term. Very, very good short-term assets to liabilities ratio there. Coming on to long-term, they have only $75 million in assets and $23 million in liabilities long-term. So that's a bit weird because usually it's the other way around. Your long-term assets outweigh your short-term. Obviously, they offer no dividend because they're not profitable, and that would be way, way, way in the future if even if they did. And it's not really the trend with new startup tech companies to offer a dividend anyway, so no surprise there. And like I said, the company is in very, very good health financially speaking, but the concern with the fundamentals really is the insider selling. There's been a hell of a lot of shares. In fact, 37.5 million shares have been sold by a company called Virgin Investor Holdings, or Virgin Investor Group, should I say, which is a sister company, also owned by Richard Branson, and they sold a hell of a lot of shares. Why is that? Well, I think they even think it's overpriced. Now, the hype is real, and I completely understand it. Space travel, space exploration, space mining, all of these things are for sure going to be a part of the human race in the future. And if you get the right one, it's gonna be bigger than Apple, 100%. You know, I remember reading an article about mining asteroids as they pass Earth, and then when, you know, the robots will mine, and as they come back around later in the year, we then remove the materials from it. You know, there's all sorts of metals and some stuff we don't even know exists on these asteroids that are passing us by every hour. So and these asteroids are worth trillions, not billions, but trillions. So for sure there is profit in space. But we need to take a step back and look at just getting the average person, the average Joe, into space. And by average, I mean you need $250,000 US for a ticket to get into space for just a mere few minutes. So not really average, but again, civilian nonetheless. So Virgin Galactic's whole thing for the short term is to send people, tourists, let's say tourists, into space, have a few minutes in space, float around a little bit, take some little Snapchats of the Earth looking down. I don't think there's going to be Wi-Fi up there, or maybe there is, I really don't know that. But get up there, then come back down. This then can lead on to supersonic travel, going up into the atmosphere and traveling around the world much quicker and basically more efficient, because you don't need as much fuel once you're in space, I believe. And then obviously that leads on to, you know, exploration of planets. We've seen Elon Musk's SpaceX. We've seen a lot of these companies go into planet explorations and rocketry and generic. It's a complete new industry and sector which could outweigh the whole industries on Earth. Literally every single industry could be outweighed by space travel, exploration, mining, etc., colonization, farming, everything. The money to be made out there is literally endless. And to be clear, I am fully on board with that. Just not with Virgin Galactic right now. So Virgin Galactic got upgraded to a $35 price target from Bank of America recently, and in that interview they disclosed that they expect travel to space in Q1, Q2 of 2021, so not that long away. And I think if that first mission is successful, I'm calling it a mission, but it's a flight, then I think we will see massive hype in this stock and a very big rally for sure. If you go back in history and you watch, you know, when the rockets were going off into to go to the moon, everywhere around the world was watching. It was, well, the biggest thing of a generation. And I think this could be equally as big, if not bigger, to be honest, with, you know, the way we're all connected now is much easier than, you know, going around your friend's house to watch it in black and white. I wasn't around then, to be clear. I might be a bit older than the average bear, but I'm not that old. Now, the pricing of a ticket does come in at a $250,000 price target. And that is, well, it's a lot of money, you know. It is a hell of a lot of money. So you think that, okay, well, there might not be that many tourists looking to buy this ticket for a couple of minutes. Well, you'd be wrong. They've actually took big deposits from 600 people already, big deposits this is, and it's estimated that that's between 80 to 100 million US dollars in value in deposits alone. And then coming down to that, you've also got another 8,000 reservations in small deposits. So a lot of people are really interested in taking this flight. Now that's probably gonna, pardon the pun, rocket this company up to the moon. But there is a lot of risk. As we know from SpaceX and the Vulcan program, rockets tend to explode from time to time, unfortunately. If one little thing's missed, boom, goes. Now hopefully that if that does happen, no passengers are on board, but any major setback would be a major inflection on the stock price. And if that did happen, well, who knows where the stock's gonna go. And it definitely won't be up. It'll be very quickly down, unfortunately. So just be aware that literally you could wake up and you've lost 80% of your account. It's a big possibility. Not just that, there's a lot of risk with going to space. There's a lot of risk with just flying from, you know, one country to another, never mind going to space. So just, that's a big risk in itself. And I'm not saying it's gonna bankrupt the company, but what I'm saying is that would be a good point to try and maybe scoop shares up if that did happen. But in the meantime, it's a big risk. It's still in early days, in my opinion. Now, for me, there is another company I am looking at, which is in the space exploration sector or the space venture sector, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know if I want to do a video on it yet because it's quite, well, it's quite unknown. And yeah, I've already picked up shares. So I can't really disclose any more than that. It's top secret information. But Virgin Galactic, if we get anywhere between 16 and 18, I'll probably take a star position, to be honest. And the reason I'd want to buy it between 16 and 18 is I don't want to miss the ship. See what I did there? And I did some math calculations, and the cost of a flight is 250,000 US dollars. Maybe more, maybe less, but roughly $250,000 in the future. Apparently, 39% of people who have a net worth of 5 million US dollars are interested in purchasing a $250,000 ticket. Now, there's 3 million people who have in the world who have 5 million US dollars net worth, right? So that's 1.17 million people who are interested in buying a ticket. Now, bearing in mind that people will not be flying alone. I mean, if you've got that much money, you're probably gonna go with your wife, your spouse, your husband, your kids, you know, you maybe take a dying parent, who knows? So I doubt they'll be going on this experience alone. But that said, let's just go that way. You know, if you've got 5 million, that's you, doesn't mean your spouse has. So they're probably gonna take a friend or a family member with them. But let's just say it's just them for now. So if we times that 1.17 million by the 250,000 ticket, well, we come up with 292 billion US dollars, which is just a crazy figure. Now, I'm sure there's gonna be extras. I'm sure there's gonna be more flights. etc. And obviously a time frame in which this is possible. But that number is bonkers. And again, you could arguably double that because I doubt people will be flying alone. But that is mind-blowing. Their market cap is currently 5 billion. If they get that amount of people, 292 billion. And I'm pretty sure the price of the ticket's going to come down. But as the ticket comes down in price, more people are available to buy it, right? So there is big potential with this stock, and I am really interested in it. I just, for the life of me, can't buy a stock when it's in the middle of a range. I need it to come down and I need to size in slowly. And I hope I get that opportunity. I really do. So what do you think about Virgin Galactic stock? Is it a buy at this price? Are you in already? And what is the biggest news you think that could potentially boost the stock price higher? For me, I think even if you got some here, I can understand why, but you have to bear in mind the risk. Now, if everything goes to plan, in 10 years time, it's got massive potential of being the biggest company in the world. Well, should I say outside the world? But sorry for the dad jokes and the sci-fi jokes. But that said, I do think that it's got massive, massive potential. And for me, it'd be a case of buying it with a decent amount of size that I'm comfortable with, maybe with like 5% of my portfolio or 2 or 3%. And I'd probably buy it and I'd just close that little account. I'd probably put it in one account and close that account down, put it in a corner and come back in 5-10 years and see how we're doing. Because I think it's going to be a very bumpy ride. Pardon the sci-fi pun again, but I think it's going to be a very bumpy ride in the coming years for this stock and for the industry in itself. But I do think the hype hasn't really hit it yet. We've seen the EV hype in the past, and I think that hype hasn't really hit this industry yet. And I think it will. I think if we get, SpaceX going public or something like that, it's going to boost this stock 100%. The first flight coming very, very soon. It's also got a potential to boost the stock massively. So I do think a lot of people are sniffing around it. My only issue is it's old news. Everybody knows about this stock already. So, the same rule that I said about Tesla and said about Bitcoin is if your grandma knows about the company, then you've probably missed the boat already. And my grandma is not alive anymore, so you need to ask your own. That's it from me. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn the bell. Check out Patreon link in the description. Join the chat room in the description. See you in the next one. Take care. Peace. Oh, wait, should I do live long and prosper?